Hi guys, my name is Adeshaun. On today's episode of Mailbox, we'll be addressing different mails from different people from all over the world. With me today is
Shaun Johnson. Our first mail today is from Susan. Susan is from Pretoria.
right.
And her question is, my hot-tempered ex says he has changed. So she says, hello, my ex-boyfriend is someone who had very serious insecurities and is also bad-tempered. All this led to our breakup. Now he has been begging to get back together, saying he has and will continue to work on himself. Please, do such people really change?
So thank you, Susan. So for me personally, every relationship is a work in progress. So to be candid, it is a function of how you feel about the person, because some people would say they've changed, they might not change, and it might say otherwise, and it might actually be true to what he's saying. I'm sure when you guys had that relationship, there were certain decisions that actually made you break up in the first place. If you count your costs, look at it really. Do you think you want to, are you convinced that you want to really go back to that relationship? Because I know when a woman starts asking such questions, she's trying to give it another thought. Yeah. She's trying to say, okay, maybe the devil you know is better than the one you do. You get what I'm saying? So I think, Susan, what you need to do is really need to count your costs, because I'm sure there was a reason why you made that decision in the first place. And now if you are trying to consider the guy, all those things that you say, because bad temper, you know, the way bad temper works, except for the grace of God, you know that, and that's why each time we talk, advising people, we talk about the power of prayer. You know, it does a lot of things. So if you have bad temper, sometimes he aggravates to something else, to something bigger and major. So to avoid that, you actually need to see how maybe you guys want to become friends again, instead of making the decision of going back into a relationship, because really there was a reason why you broke up. So probably you can use that period to actually check if the guy has genuinely changed. So I think you should give it a try. You guys can be friends, but the relationship, I think you should just take it slow. Try and observe. And while you're doing that, also pray for him. Try and pray for him. Stand in the gap for him in the place of prayer. And also stand in gap for yourself on this decision of a partner. Shaun, what do you think?
I agree 100% with Adeshaun. I think that people can change. But I also think that it would be great for Susan to sort of, observe, and just look out for those things that, she broke up for, and see, whether, the guy has changed, see whether he's, remorseful, for the past and what's, and then just, take it from there, but take it very slowly. Don't just jump back into the relationship and start afresh again. Yeah,
I think Susan, I think to a certain extent, we'll be able to address your story. So Shaun, let's have the second mail.
So our second mail, this is Osage from Delta State. That's Delta State in Nigeria. My wife wants to walk away because I hit her. So Osage says, hi, my wife of 9 years wants to divorce just because I hit her. We have 3 kids and she just wants to throw everything away. I feel it's because she has her money and she's doing all this. I feel I should allow her. When she sees there's nothing outside, she'll come back. What do you think?
Osage, this thing you are doing is even dangerous. That you are coming out to, you are actually confessing to the world that you hit her. Hitting anybody is a big deal. This thing, you can be jailed for it. You can actually be arrested for it. For you coming out to own up and say you hit her is actually a big deal. And you're saying she wants to walk away because I hit her. It's major. I mean, there are actually some hitting that led people to their grave, their early grave. So I think you really need to be careful here. Especially when you're doing stuff to your wife. You already have 3 kids. The question you first of all ask yourself is, should you be hitting your wife? Because I mean, in as much as we try to address relationship issues and we talk about what is to be done and what is not to be done. You cannot be hitting your wife and be getting away with it and still think that she's going to sit with you in the relationship. So I think it's important for you to first of all check yourself and see, because you're hurting her and she would leave. Yes, she would leave. It's not like I'm advising. I mean, divorce is still a long road, because really there are a lot of things that actually happen in marriage that people really want to threaten for divorce. But what you're doing is actually major. So you actually need to, I mean, if you understand what the scripture says about loving your neighbor as yourself. Now, we're talking about your wife here. It means that you really need to see, you need to ask God for forgiveness. You need to ask her for forgiveness. And if you really need the marriage, you need to turn a new leaf. And that's the only way. Because for a woman, you can't continue to be hitting your wife and expect that, because she has 3 kids, she says she wants to go, you think you need to allow her. It's not even longer about you. It's no longer, because you can actually be reported, you can be reprimanded. These things you're doing, somebody needs to tell you. It is wrong. You cannot be hitting your wife. Even when you're having a conversations, there are limitations to the kind of language that you can use. This person is your wife. You guys are supposed to come together as one. I'm sure, I mean, you've gone through, if your marriage, I'm sure your marriage is not a year, it's not 2, it's not 3.
9
because
years.
You see,
9
I mean,
years.
a whooping 9 years, that's close to a decade.
Already.
So it means that you should actually be counseling people about marriage. And the implication is that all these things, hitting wife, getting hot-tempered, she packing out, filing for divorce, they shouldn't be an issue you guys should be addressing. Now you should be sitting together, communicating on how the way forward, on how to groom or how to take care of the kids that God has blessed both of you with. So Osage, please, I think you really need to turn a new leaf. You need to ask God to help you, and you need to speak to your wife and ask for forgiveness. Because if the one says she wants to leave, she actually would leave, because it's life-threatening. You can't be hitting it. You can't be hitting anybody, not even your wife. So please try to turn a new leaf and tell God, ask God for help. What do you think, Sho?
So hitting your wife that's domestic.
It's domestic violence,
and that's a punishable crime under the law. So first of all, that's a bad thing that Osage is doing. Then I feel like Osage has also trivialized the fact that he's beating her, because he says just because.
And that's what he said.
And there's no.
I feel I should allow her go.
And she wants to leave because of money. So I think Osage is just making excuses and trying to justify bad behavior.
She has her money.
So you cannot hit your wife. You cannot hit anybody that is an adult. You cannot even just be hitting anybody, even children. There's a level to which you can touch, anybody now. Nowadays, So I feel like you should, like Adeshon says, you have to speak to your wife. You have to apologize for hitting her, even if it's the first time. And work towards whatever is. You have to work on yourself, because I think he has like maybe some temper issues because you're raising your hand, you're hitting somebody else. You should work on yourself. Apologize to your wife and apologize in action. So you cannot hit her again. You cannot do anything in that manner anymore. And obviously, it's because you're hitting her, that's why she wants to leave. It's not like there's any other problem.
Right.
So I feel like once you stop, this hitting or abusive nature, there's no reason for her to move out or for you to have issues.
Absolutely. So I think we've been able to address that, Osage.
Yeah.
So, Shion, our next mail.
So our next mail is interesting. So this is from Kate. Kate is from Lagos. Leaving my parents' house. That's the subject of Kate's mail. She says, "Hello, I am 26 years old, living with my parents. I have 3 million naira in my savings account, and I was thinking of starting a business with part of it. Then the other part of the money, I'll move out of my parents' house. What do you think? Is this advisable?"
Okay, so to start with, we'll take it. I mean, is a lot of conversations going on here. She's 26. She's with her parents. She has 3 million in her savings.
Yeah.
She's starting a business.
Yeah.
She's moving out. What do we think? First, I mean, the global world, once you're a certain age, people just feel that you have to be independent.
Yeah.
I know there's 18 like that, thereabouts. Then again, some culture are different. some system are different economic wise. Now 3 million, I don't know if it's naira or dollars, but with her name and from where she is from, she's came from Lagos, meaning 3 million naira. The Nigeria of today, 3 million can do you no good. You want to do a business, you want to pay rent. Understand that paying rent is not just paying for the building. You have to furnish, you have to do beddings, you have to do interior in your own minimal way. You have to fix the kitchen, all these bits and pieces. People don't know all these recurrent expenditure. Sometimes they are even more than the rent in itself. So you have to really think deep and think wise. I would advise you that if whatever business you want to put together is something that is a bit petty, you could start small while you're still in your parents' house. You're 26, they're not even chasing you. You're female. So pretty much about, I mean, these days, between 25, 26, 27, 30, I mean, you're okay, you know? So I think first thing first, the first thing is, so long they are not chasing you and there's really no pressure, now that you have the opportunity of still staying in your parents' home, I think you should make good use of that opportunity. They say a little drop of water make a mighty ocean. So start whatever business you want to start with 3 million and see how you can turn it around in 6 months, in a year, 18 calendar months, in 2 years. Give yourself a goal and see what you can achieve within that period. And I mean, of course, God will bless the work of your hand. In the process of doing the business, there will be multiplying effect. At least scriptural, you can see the story of the sower. You know, I mean, okay, so there were some that were being sown into a fertile land. There were some that went just down the lane. I want to believe that yours is going to that soil that is fertile. And with the help of God and your hard work, your smart work, I hope you'll be able to multiply that 3 million to make millions of naira, such that conveniently and comfortably you'll be able to rent. You're even able to buy yourself a car. So I would advise you that you still don't go for the rent now. Invest in whatever you want to do in terms of business, and then every other thing can. So long there's no pressure.
So for me, I like that Kate is not comfortable still being at home. So and it looks like her parents are not putting her under pressure. So I feel like you can convert that discomfort into being very strategic with your planning. So like Adesion said, you know, you can hold off on going to rent a house now and convert all that 3 million into the business, but then give yourself obviously like measurable goals and timelines so that, you know, maybe 6 months, a year, while you're doing that business, you're also saving and you're planning for, you know, where to live. Again, this is your first time of leaving the house, so you're not just going to move, for instance, to, you know, one house in Banana Island or one house in Lekki. You start small, but, you know, start doing your research on houses and places. But when you invest in your business and you start to scale, make profit, all of those things, you can now comfortably go and rent a house and move out without pressure. Because you don't want to also move out, you know, from your parents' house, start a business and come back again and say you're not doing well.
The thing, let me tell you something. In life generally, all these decisions, they are risk. I won't lie to you. There are some certain decisions, if you don't take that baby leap, that step of faith, it will never happen. And then we speak about attraction all the time. And I tell people about a book that I like to read so much. It's called The Secret. You see, what you attract into your life, it happens. Scripture says the power of life and death lies in your tongue. So you begin to speak life into that business. See, whatever you do or you lay your hands on, once you take that step of faith, believing that it's going to go well, trust me, it will go well. Even if it looks like it's not looking like it, heaven will come to your rescue. And that's what I believe. So Kate, I think we've pretty much been able to address your issue. So guys, that'll be all on this episode of Mailbox. Till next time, my name is Adesion and I still have with me
Sean Johnson.
Till next time, bye.